This fly was originated in 1838 in England and was originally called the moonfly after Dewhurst Moon, who designed the fly and coincidentally was a butcher, and ultimately became known as the butcher. I'm doing this one in the style of Alice Conba of Ireland, a great tyer with whom I studied for a couple of years. And her flies are typically very compact. If you notice, I didn't go quite all the way back to the bend with the thread on this one. And these are scarlet duck quill slips, a left and a right, straddling the hook. Both got pulled over on my side there. Let's have a look at this. Always check yourself before you wreck yourself. And yeah, that looks great. Wish they could all look like that. And that tail is about the length of the entire hook. Make sure your tail is no more than 4 strands wide. 3 is even better if you can pull it off. I'm going to take this all the way back very carefully here, right up to the tail, holding the tail up while I wrap back. That way the tail doesn't get keeled over. This is small silver wire, just tied in with 1 turn on the far side of the hook. And then this is metal silver tinsel, again small. Although I think, looking at Alice's fly on Hans Velleman's site, I'll link to that below, I think she might use medium tinsel there, if you want to be faithful to her rendition. And on this fly, I really crowd the eye a lot. Maybe a little too much on this particular one. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this pans out. But if you don't really crowd the eye on these very compact flies like this, the wing winds up a little too far back. The head is a little too elongated. I just don't like the results as well. Trapped that a couple of times. Cutting it, leaving a little bit of tag end there just to get it bound down even more once I do a couple more wraps there. Alice's flies typically have 4 turns of ribbing, very well spaced. I wind up with 5 on this. It just panned out that way. But probably 4 will show when all's said and done. I've got the thread under a lot of tension because I don't want it to move around as I helicopter the wire. Now I'm switching to black thread. Now, on the Fly on Hans site, Alice doesn't do this. And that's the case with many of the flies I have from her. But then I've got a butcher from her, and she has done this. It's got a black head. Or she used black thread throughout. I'm not sure which. But whatever Alice does, I'm fine with it. She is amazing. One of my absolute favorite tires. And I love this style of fly. It's for fishing, and these flies really work. Generally speaking, I like small flies for trout anyway. Just over time, they seem to work better for me. There are always exceptions to everything. These wing slips that I've used, they're mallard, and they really should be blue-black. They shouldn't have as much white, if any, as I've got on here, but there's a little bit of white on the tips. They were good slips. I wanted to use them. I like the size, and it's very easy to get these too thin. As you go down on the feather into the blue-black area, things really get pointy and thin down there. And on this fly, that all of Alice's flies are done like this. The hackle goes in front, and boy, you can get a really small head this way. This head's not quite as small as what Alice can get, but it's much smaller than if you did this in a 14 in the Bergman style, in the American style, which is why I really like this method for small flies. The head really gets out of proportion if you tie 14s and 16s in American style. No matter how hard you try, the head comes out bigger than you'd like. Only got 3 turns of hackle on this, which is plenty for this size fly, really. And this is the hen hackle I used is Whiting Saddle, and it's kind of bulky anyway. So 3 turns of work. And I'll do a whip finish here. And it's to trap a fiber doing that. Not sure how that happened. And we'll trim it. Mess with it. And we'll see how it looks here in a sec, once I glue it up. Once I looked at the 360 of this fly, it was embarrassing, so I tied another one. And this one's a little more representative of Alice's style. The wing on the first one got just a little bit messed up by the hackle. It sort of jacked it to the side. Be sure to have a look at Alice's fly on Han's site. And be sure to fish this one, it really works. And these are so much fun to tie.